why aren't we saying Merrick Garland? How about Merrick Garland? Remember Merrick Garland? Someone should say that. Have we said that? Has anyone said that?
Durbin has said it, and certainly Senator Leahy has been quick to say, actually, the only person who's packed the court is Mitch McConnell. But I think that there's been a decision. I mean, you're so right. This is like weird Back to the Future. I described it on some show yesterday as it's so like 80s and 90s. It's like Monica versus Rachel. And we're having this conversation about a TV show that's about like Bork and about Miguel Estrada and Janice Rogers Brown. And it's so weird because it's like you have a 6-3 supermajority. You're about to overturn Roe and put guns in the hands of every single person on the New York City subway. Like you won everything. Stop whining. And they can't.
This is my recollection of this, which is that Alito, when he applied to the Reagan administration, put as the only organization they belonged to was the Concerned Alumni of Princeton.
Yeah.
And what were they concerned about? Were they concerned about the state of the language labs? No. They were concerned about, Black and Hispanic and women coming to Princeton. Now, that's a legitimate thing to raise at his hearing, going like, okay, that's the one organization. And kind of their focus was keeping this a white male institution. We think that's, and then his wife cried, right?
It got spun into this. The Dems were so racist about Alito being racist that his wife fled the chamber in tears. And that becomes the template for Lindsey Graham saying, could you be fair to a Catholic? Because now you can just say any old crazy thing and it's payback for imaginary sins of the past.
And I know the instruction is no heat, just let's get every possible vote we can by playing nice. But it's so offensive. These hearings completely underscore the importance of the midterms and of keeping the Senate, right?
Yeah. And I wrote this last night because I was so frustrated. The way the Senate Democrats are conducting themselves, it's not just that there's like some sense that there's no midterm coming or the midterms in which they will lose the Senate is coming. But also in 3 months, Al, there's going to be no Roe v. Wade. In 3 months, Heller is going to be vastly expanded. The EPA is going to be crippled. Like this is really an historic term, which we don't have to talk about at length. We've talked about it before.
We'll talk about it at the end of the term.
I've never seen a term like this. And how is it possible that we have Democrats on the committee who are talking as though, talk about, it's like the 80s, as the most explosive item on the term is, I don't know, the Dormant Commerce Clause came up today. No, everything is on the table this term. And it's so maddening. You have this national infomercial about why it is that the Trump judges are screwing up the country, and you can't say a sentence about it.
I don't know about Schumer's leadership. This is what I question is like, I know what's happening in caucus. Like we want every vote we can get. And so don't rock the boat. Just keep the heat down so we can get 52. And it's like, no, draw the contrast and respond to them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really strange because it ends up boxing the nominee into that box. If all you have is either originalism or make crap up and do interpretive dance, which is right how Mike Lee describes constitutional, theory, then if nobody on your side is saying, no, there's a thing that isn't interpretive dance. And the fact that we're not using it to draw a line between not just what's at stake in the midterms, but what's literally going to happen in the last week of June. This is your moment to explain to the American people what it is that the court's been doing for the last 2 years? And what, we just forgot? And nobody said a freaking word about, like, maybe it's a good thing that people can choose to have birth control in their marriages. Thank you, Griswold versus Connecticut. And so it's just like the asymmetry of, like, the elevator pitch.
I'm just thinking that we're so close now to losing our democracy, but that's a different thing. But they aren't bringing that up either.
Not at all. You know how it's coming up? Actually, Amy Klobuchar is bringing it up because she keeps referencing what's happening in Ukraine and the need for rule of law and the need for democratic institutions. But I don't think that you have to point to Ukraine. You can point to January 6th, and I haven't heard that once.